There are a few places you go for the first time and they change you, but then you go back and you realize that what it gave you the first time isn't there anymore. My first Pride changed my life, but when I go now, I show up and pay way too much for an outing with my friends. When I was 22 in Dallas, I was freshly out of the closet. I grew up in a Southern Baptist conservative family and had struggled with my feelings towards guys for years. I thought that internal struggle was unique to me, and I didn't know what a future looked like if I was out and proud. Would I be able to have a career? Would my family disown me? Would I be a disappointment to my father? And this was at the beginning of the internet, so I'd seen some porn and Will and Grace, but that was about all I knew about gays. And I'd never been to Pride, but I had some friends who were going, so I somehow found the courage to go with them. When we arrived, I was in disbelief at the number of people who were there, and all different types of people, from children to the elderly, all genders, and they were just normal people like me. They weren't some unhappy, depressed, sick group of people like I had been told they were. The sense of belonging, of being seen, that I wasn't alone, and all of these people were celebrating. It was upbeat and joyous. It felt like everything I had struggled with and tormented myself over melted away. And for the first time, that belief that I had about myself, that something was wrong with me, wasn't as loud. It got drowned out. And for that brief moment, that day at Pride, I felt normal and accepted, and that there was nothing wrong with me. Looking back, I am so grateful and indebted to that experience for possibly saving me. Because back then, the struggling and insecure kid who needed Pride didn't have a smartphone that could show him 1,000 people like him in 30 seconds. Today, a young person can find community and belonging in chat rooms, apps, TV shows, movies. You don't need Pride to know that there are others like you who support you and celebrate you because you've already seen it. The need I had at 22 that made it revolutionary and life-changing doesn't exist in the same way anymore. Last week, I went to WeHo Pride, and I've been a few times over the years, and I don't have that feeling of belonging. And I know it's partly because it's impossible. That was a once-in-a-lifetime experience built up from years of shame and trauma, and I'm a fully grown and confident version of myself because the belief that something was wrong with me got drowned out. And so without that, I struggle to find reasons to go anymore. And look, I know this is WeHo, one of the biggest, most commercialized events in the country. Pride in Beaumont, Texas, or Provo, Utah, is a different experience. But it's not just me that's changed. When I went all those years ago, there was no paid ticket. You could go to the events at the park for free, watch performers, see the parade. There wasn't a ticket cost to go and spend time with your friends or be a part of the community. Now, Pride has been monetized, and it's just another paid event. It's still full of LGBTQ+ people, and you can go and have a great time, but what's the actual monetary cost? I can go to WeHo any other weekend of the year and go to the same venues without paying covers and higher drink prices. What makes it different today is if you want to show your pride and support, you're going to have to pay. And the biggest grievance I have is the concert and ticket fees. Yes, Out Loud Music Festival has a gay founder and originally launched to support underrepresented queer artists. But they're now a national brand with expanded operations to multiple Pride markets. They have the free performances Friday evening, but Saturday and Sunday require a ticket. And this year, general admission weekend passes started at $179 and went all the way to the super VIP package at $899. I understand throwing a concert-level music event costs money, and we live in a capitalistic society and they have every right to charge whatever they want to. But that means if I want to go have a good time with my friends, I have to pay to participate. The parade is still free, but it also has corporate sponsors showing their support of the queer community. Except wait, 2026 had far fewer corporate sponsors than prior years, which just goes to show that they were never here for the cause, they were here for the market, which means we're on our own, a position our community and our history are far too familiar with. And this isn't a political observation, it's something worse. It's a betrayal for someone like me who grew up needing visible allies, which means that showing up still matters, just for different reasons than it did for me at 22. You know, I try not to dwell on what ifs, but sometimes I think about that day when I was at my first Pride, the weather, my mood, that I could have stayed home, and what my life might be now had any of those things been different. Because that day saved me, a 22-year-old gay boy in Dallas who needed Pride, and someone out there still does too. Happy Pride, y'all. You made it to the end. Thanks for watching. If you liked this one, gay it forward and watch another one, and subscribe so I know you were here. Yes, you. I'm talking to you, not myself. Or am I? Now I'm confused again.